Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. If you've seen my previous videos, you know that I'm slowly but surely beating every single PlayStation 2 game to ever exist. And recently I've beaten over 25 games. And I thought it would be fun to rate those 25 games. I have beaten a few more games. I think I'm on 28 now with the Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader I just released. Watch that now if you want. But I'm not going to include those. I'm just going to include the first 25 because 25 is a nice number. Okay, it's 25, a beautiful number. That's what we're doing. We're going to rate the first 25 games that I've played and beaten, not in any particular order. It's whatever order they're on the screen. I don't care if I did beat it first or not. So let's just begin. So the first one we have, which is actually the first one that I did beat, is 50 Cent Bulletproof. And by the way, if you want to watch me beat any of these games, I'm going to leave a link to the playlist in the description and also on the top right. Somehow I'll figure out how to do that in the top right over here. So feel free to check it out if you wish. But 50 Cent Bulletproof. So I don't remember what rating I gave, but that's fine because that was then and this is now. So what do I think now? The main aspects of the game that I care about are the story and the gameplay. I think the gameplay is more important, but the story is also pretty important because if there's a boring story, it's like what's the point of even playing the game, even if it's like the most satisfyingly mechanically game to ever exist. Looking back at it, the story was actually very good. It was very well put together. The cutscenes were very nice. It actually had like a coherent story. It wasn't just like bad guy did bad thing, kill bad guy. There was more to it than just chasing the bad guy, you know? So if I was basing it just off the story, honestly, I would be either A tier or S tier. But then the gameplay was bad. It was a third person shooter and the controls are just awful. I remember being so frustrated playing it, which is really unfortunate because the story is actually so good. So that for sure marks it down a little bit. If it was just a story, I think A tier. If it was just the gameplay, I would say C tier. Because of that, I'm going right in the middle. 50 Cent Bulletproof, B tier. Solid entry, good game, good story, gameplay leaves something to be desired. Area 51. Let's see. The story was that you get called into the Area 51, into this, the government secret alien base to investigate a situation. And while you're investigating, you see your friends die and you become an alien, just like hybrid thing. And then you also realize that the government was holding this poor alien hostage. He was actually a very nice alien friend, but the government was being rude and they were holding him against his will, which is just not nice. So you're like, no thank you, screw you buddy, and you blow that bitch up and free the little alien friend. That story, pretty good. Not as good as 50 Cent Bulletproof, I'll admit. The gameplay is a first-person shooter. I think the controls were good. I believe I liked it more than... it's hard to not like it more than the gameplay of 50 Cent Bulletproof because that was pretty bad. But Air 51, I think it's kind of like in the middle. It wasn't bad. It wasn't amazing. Nothing too crazy out of it. I think I'm putting it in the B tier. Solid B, below 50 Cent Bulletproof. Next up, I know where this is going already, but I'll explain why. Bad Boys Miami Takedown. If you don't know, it's based off the Bad Boys movie franchise with Will Smith and the other guy. I don't know his name, I'm sorry. And this game was made purely for the reason to make money off of it. That's how I see it. The story is just a normal story of you're the good guys, you must kill the bad guys. That's it. There really was nothing else to the story. It was like nothing happened. The gameplay, honestly, I don't remember the gameplay. It was probably just basic. I would never want to even play the game again. It was just like I'll say now, it's going in D tier. Basic, boring story, basic, boring gameplay. D tier, easy choice. Okay, next up we have Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. And now I'm going to share my opinions and definitely offend some people. Baldur's Gate is not my type of game at all. I don't even know what it's called. MMO, MMORPG, RPG. It's just not for me. I don't really enjoy it. I don't know why. It's just I don't not enjoy it, but I wouldn't choose to play it. If I just wanted to find a game to play, I would never go towards that genre. I don't even remember what the story was to that. I know you went around, you killed a bunch of things, you went to different areas and killed more stuff and helped people and whatnot. I will admit though, I definitely did not think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. It did get towards the end where the game was taking like so long. Not like it took a very long time, but it took so long to me. It was like getting boring because there really wasn't a lot of variation. I was just going around killing stuff, and I just kind of want the game to be over. So for those reasons, I'm honestly thinking B or C tier. And also, I also want to point out, I don't remember what I said for my reviews of these games for most of them. I could be completely contradicting myself on my original ratings. That's fine. I honestly don't care. My opinion can change. Okay, that's what opinions do. They change. All right. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance is going in either B or C. B behind Area 51. Because I'd rather play Area 51 again before I play Dark Alliance. People can't be too mad at me for that, I think. So that's good. Next up, we have Bombastic, which I would not be surprised if nobody has ever heard of it, unless you watch my video on it. It's a Japanese puzzle game based off rolling dice. You roll dice and you match dice in different ways, and you have to, like, the dice can blow up and you can roll around. You have to get them match a certain number of the dice with the right number. Like you have to match 3 threes to make them trigger to blow up, and they can blow other numbers up. It's a little complicated to explain. Many different worlds and puzzles based off rolling these dice. The story was kind of like this. You would play as like these 5 little brothers that there's a bunch of homies, and you're going on this adventure to find your grandpa, I think is what it was, which is interesting. Not really much of a story, but we can't really blame it for not having a story because it's a puzzle game. Puzzle games aren't really known for their stories. But I will say that I play puzzle games a lot, okay? I like puzzles. I think I'm pretty good at puzzles, probably better than average. But I couldn't really comprehend the rolling dice for some reason. Because at the end of the world, there's also these boss fights. Honestly, I didn't even end up trying for most of them. I just rolled around and hoped that things happened, and it actually worked. So the fact that I could do that now we're thinking about it is not really a good sign for the puzzle game. If you've played the game, you know there's that last boss fight that just sucks. It's so hard for no reason. I would never want to see that boss fight again. It's so ridiculously hard, I don't understand why. It's either going in C or D, which honestly is sad because I like puzzle games, but I don't think I wouldn't care to play that again. Like, that's not a puzzle game that I would go back to play it again. Honestly, C tier. Probably gonna kind of do these the same way. We have Crazy Frog Racer and Crazy Frog Racer 2. I'm sure you could use your smarts to realize that that is a racing game based off Crazy Frog, which, why does that exist? I don't know. I didn't make it, but it's a basic arcade racer with power-ups. That's really it. All you do is you play the races, you beat the races, and the game's over. It's easy mechanics. It's not hard at all. The power-ups in Crazy Frog Racer 1, you can actually choose what power-ups you want to use, and they just cost different money that you collect while racing on the course, which is an interesting mechanic. Here's the thing though about these two games. Crazy Frog Racer 2 has all of the exact same maps. Like, literally, not even kidding, all the tracks in Crazy Frog Racer 2 are the exact same tracks from Crazy Frog Racer 1. The only difference is that in Crazy Frog Racer 2, they're more like themed. In Crazy Frog Racer 1, how it kind of worked was there's just like a bunch of tracks, and each different race there's just some of the sections are blocked off, so you just can't go that way, you go a different way. But in Crazy Frog Racer 2, there's their own maps, but they're all just like themed and designed, so it looks better. It's the same power-ups as well in Crazy Frog Racer 2. So I think between the two of them, they could have made a decent game. Like if they took the best elements from each game, I think it would be an okay basic arcade racer, but it would be fine. But the fact that there's two different games just baffles me, because there's literally no reason at all for the second one to exist. It's the exact same game. It just looks a little better. But I would think Crazy Frog Racer 2 is better if it was just that game. The fact that there's two of them is not good. So because of that, I want to put Crazy Frog Racer 1 in D tier and Crazy Frog Racer 2 in C tier above Bombastic. Next up, we have Crazy Taxi. And this already, I'm telling you, is going in either A tier or S tier. If you know Crazy Taxi, you know that there's not a story mode to it at all. You're a taxi driver driving around the town, taxiing people around. being all crazy, like doing stunts and stuff. Then you lose, and you have a score. All arcadey style. It has like unlimited replayability because you just play the same thing over and over again. You can play with different time limits. You can play with different peoples. It's just like, because it started, if you don't know, it started as an arcade game and was then later ported to consoles. But it's just a fun game. Like, if you ever want to just play a game for a few minutes, even for some fun, you just load up Crazy Taxi. You can just play it. It's so much fun. Whether you're screwing around and not taking it seriously, or you're trying to get a high score, you can play it in so many ways. And also, there's the Crazy Box challenges, which I like the Crazy Boxes. There's also there's good replayability because you can just keep trying to beat your own scores, all your high scores, and keep playing it and just having fun with it. Crazy Taxi, I think S tier. It's a classic. It's a staple of video games. It's awesome. I don't know what else to say. Crazy Taxi is just so good. Okay, now we have Disney Pixar's Finding Nemo. We'll start by saying this game is not good. Obviously, because it's Finding Nemo, the story is following the story of Finding Nemo. If you don't find Nemo, you know the story. The gameplay is a puzzle-ish game. It's some puzzle aspects, some moving aspects, like chase scenes, sort of like sometimes when you're running from a shark or you're following somebody, like stuff like that. But the game is not very well polished. They reuse several puzzles. The puzzles aren't very creative. I know it's probably meant for children because it's Finding Nemo, but it's just like, it's something that you can just forget about. I know I didn't even care about actually being the game. I think some of them I looked up guides on the puzzles because I was just done with it. I know there's also some sections that were just like so hard for no reason whatsoever. Like the difficulty spike just out of nowhere. Finding Nemo, it's not completely terrible, but I think I'm putting it in C tier. C tier seems good for that game. It's just like fine. Next up, we have God of War. This game, it was so good. It might be my favorite game that I've played so far for different reasons. Like, it had such a good story. The story was incredible. You're trying to take down Hades in revenge of making you kill your wife and child, and it's so cool. And then at the end of it, spoilers if you don't know, at the end of the game, you end up killing a god and becoming a god yourself. Like, that is so awesome. How does it get cooler than that? The other good part of the game, obviously being the gameplay, was also very good. The fighting system is really good. The fact that you can get different weapons and different abilities, but they're not like super crazy, not too many variations. I don't like it when there's so many things. You have the different combo moves you can perform between your light attacks and strong attacks. It's just the movement and the way the fighting looks, the way it sounds when you kill enemies. It's just, oh my god. I mean, this is an easy choice. It's obviously going in S tier. It has to be my favorite game. I want it above Crazy Taxi. And it's also with throwing in some platformers and puzzles in there. Oh my god. Mwah. Beautiful. It's a fantastic game. I think it has to be my favorite PS2 game that I've ever played. Moving on to the Lego Island Extreme Stunts. The premise is you're a little Lego man named Pepper and you're filming a movie. It's a stunt movie, an action movie, and you are performing various stunts to finish filming the movie. How the game works is you have to go around and you go to the various boards that you can start the missions with, and you can play them on 3 different difficulties that each give you a different trophy. And once you have enough trophies, you can beat the game. I believe it was partially my fault, I'll admit it, that I didn't understand that premise of the game. Like, I didn't know where to go to find the missions. So I literally walked around and did a whole bunch of random extra stuff for no reason for an hour until I finally found a stunt to do. And it still took me like an extra half an hour or something to realize I can actually look at the map to see where all the stunts were. So it could be my fault. I could be stupid because of that, but it also could be poor game design that they didn't really explain that to me very well. The stunts themselves were kind of like whatever. It's like there wasn't really anything too crazy about them. Again, this is a game that's probably geared towards children, so I can't fault it too much on the stunts being really easy. But one thing that also definitely didn't really belong in the story is at the end, once you finish the movie, there's just randomly a bad guy, which that just came out of nowhere with no explanation and made no sense to me. So with all those things, I'm putting this B tier, below Baldur's Gate. Klonoa 2 Lunatea's Veil. This was a game that I have never heard about. Someone recommended it to me. I don't remember who recommended it to me in the comments, but I saw that comment. I played the game, and thank you for recommending that. Whoever you were, thank you, because this game is really good. One thing you have to know about me is that I love platformers. Platformers are my all-time favorite genre, and this game, it was so good. It had a very good story, which I think is a little hard to explain. It's kind of like you wake up in this dreamland sort of place, and there's bad people, and you have to stop them from getting these powerful rings that can summon these towers, because something bad will happen if all the towers get summoned using those rings. And I don't remember exactly what it is, but it was bad. You don't want that to happen. So you're trying to stop them by getting the rings yourself. And the actual gameplay, it was so good. There's various movements that are good. I like the fact that there's like 100 diamonds something in each level that you can collect and get a little bonus for. And some of the sections that you kind of just flow from enemy to enemy, and there's different little platformers and puzzles to do. It's just all around a good time. Plus the music in that game, it's just such a good combination of all my things I love in games. I'm putting it in A tier. Now we have the Looney Tunes ACME Arsenal. Acme Arsenal, whatever it is. Obviously, it's a Looney Tunes game. First thing to note, it's cartoonish and it has wacky music. So there's that. In its basic form, it's a platformer. Platform through all these different areas, and you have to kill the enemies to get them out of your way. What was the story? I don't remember the story. I don't remember the story. There was a bad guy that was taking over the Looney Tunes peoples. They're trying to stop them, and they were kidnapping. I know at one point they kidnapped Porky the Pig, and they made him evil. We had to save our homie at one point. The overall story is you're just stopping the bad guy, which is again a very basic thing, and I don't remember. It wasn't really anything really that good. I will admit I did enjoy the game, but it wasn't anything that stood out. It was just he was here's a game. There was a lot of good variation to the platformer, so I think that part was actually really good. It's not A tier, it's gonna be B tier, but where do I want it? I think I'm gonna put it above Area 51. Next up, we have Manhunt. A very interesting game. Very different to any game I've ever played before. I'm pretty sure you're a prisoner either on death row or just a prisoner in general. Some evil man kidnapped you, and now he's filming you, forcing you to make a snuff film because you're killing people to survive yourself because they're trying to kill you. But you're sneaking around trying to kill these people to make it through the areas to survive, which is kind of a cool concept. The basis of the game, the gameplay, you're trying to be sneaky, to not be seen and to easily get through the different sections. However, I personally have an issue with being sneaky because that requires patience. And when it comes to games, I don't have patience. I want to kill people. So I struggled to beat this game. I'll admit it. My patience did not help me. So I don't really like the sneaky part of games because I'm usually not good at them. But that's not the game's fault. That's on me. I can definitely see the appeal to it though. I get that. That's pretty fun. The story, it's pretty good too. You end up actually finding the guy that was doing this to you and killing him, which is very satisfying because he was very rude. Rockstar nailed the ambience in this game. It's so creepy and dreary and whatever. It's a very well designed game. However, where do I put it? I think I'm putting this high B. I feel like that could be an A, but it is not for me. Next up, we have Max Payne, another Rockstar game. The story was another classic of your wife and child have been murdered, and now you want to find out who did it. Of course, that's what you would do. You end up eventually getting a lead is kind of where the game starts, I believe. It's this whole conspiracy with the government and whatever, and you end up making it to the bottom of it, and you kill the evil lady that was responsible for murdering your family. It's a classic thing that it starts off of, but it doesn't just you chase bad guy and kill. It's not like that. It's an actual story to it. So the story I think was pretty good. It's a third third person shooter. There's been a few of those on this list. The story was actually really good. The gameplay wasn't bad, but it wasn't anything like crazy to it. So I think it's, dare I say, don't be mad, sort of similar to 50 Cent's Bulletproof, which I know sounds ridiculous. It's kind of the same situation. I'm going to put it in B tier above Manhunt. But the one thing I don't like that is keeping it up A tier is the cutscenes, or the lack of cutscenes. There's like the comic book style instead of cutscenes, which I was not a fan of at all. I'll be honest. I didn't like that. I have a lot of them in B right now, but I just don't think they're quite at the status that I want to put them at A. Moving on to our second Pixar game, Monsters Inc. This game is a platformer. It's just like Finding Nemo. It follows the story of Monsters Inc. Surprise, surprise. It was just a platformer. There's not really much else to it. It's really basic. It doesn't stand out. It's honestly, it's an easy choice. It's going right along Finding Nemo. It's better than Finding Nemo. It's a basic platformer. I honestly couldn't wait for it to be over. It was just a game that I played. Next up, we have Rez. Rez is a very interesting game, completely different from any other game on this list whatsoever. So I can't really compare it to other games. It's gonna be a little different. It's an on-rail shooter. You know, you're stuck on a fixed path and you are looking around, shooting stuff so they don't shoot you. But it's music based. So everything you do is like making music that kind of goes along with this music in the background. A lot of flashing colors, a lot of enemies to shoot. It's not really much of a story. The story, honestly, I didn't even know what the story was until I beat the game and looked it up. I believe it was like you're a hacker infiltrating some whatever thing, which there was no inclination of that whatsoever. So the story, that's why I probably rated the story low. The story added nothing to it. Honestly, when I was playing the game, I was thinking like this game kind of is boring. I just want it to be over. That's kind of like a few games on this list. I really liked how the music was implemented. It went along. It was actually part of the game, not just music in the background. So that was pretty cool. I can't give it above a C. The gameplay wasn't really all that exciting. The music part of it is kind of the main aspect of it, which it helps it, but it's like fine. I think I'll put it above Finding Nemo. I'll split the Pixar's up. I think that's a good spot for it. Next up, we have Ridge Racer 5. This game is, I'm sure you guessed, is a racing game. It's a very classic arcade style of racing. That's the best way to describe it. If you think not quite the arcade style of racing, but just like a basic arcade racing, that's exactly probably what you imagine. It's just a simple racer. It's really not much to it. You just go down different tracks, you win the races, you move on to the next ones, and then you win those races and move on to the next ones. Of course, there's no story there. I can't judge off that. Racing games usually aren't for me. I definitely prefer arcade racing, like Mario Kart racing, to simulated racing like Forza and stuff. Ridge Racer is kind of like right in the middle of that. So it was I think it was actually a pretty good balance for me personally. I think it was a solid game. There's not much else to it. If you like racing games, you would enjoy it. There's nothing else to it. It doesn't stand out. It's not bad though. It's going to be in B tier. I'll put it at the bottom of B. Shadow of the Colossus. I'll just say it's awesome. You're going around, going place to place, killing these different colossal creatures. Is what it is. They all have different ways to kill them. All have their kind of own things. There's some ground guys, there's some water guys, there's some flying guys. That's the basis of it. The story and the reason why you're killing people is, I think your like girlfriend or whatever is either sick, and you put her on this altar in this weird place. Each one of the colossi you kill, their like soul or whatever goes back to the temple, and one of the statues blow up, and then eventually once you get all of them, she gets healed. But then there's some people that come by like, what the heck, you summon these colossus boys, and that's bad because now this big shadowy creature's going to come up and eat you. And then then all that stuff happens, whatever. Then you get punished, as like the person gets punished by you and the girlfriend get abandoned in this place because there's only one bridge in and out. So you're stuck there forever now. And you're a baby, which is, I don't know why that you're a baby, but overall the creatures you fight, they're unique in a good way. Honestly, some of the creatures I hated. For the most part, they're good. It's so satisfying to kill this giant creature when you're just a little man, just a little human boy. I also think it's just it's a beautiful game. And I'll also admit nostalgia plays a factor in this for me because I played this as a kid. So that's probably why I'm putting it in A. It's a very unique game. It's a beautiful game. It's a well-made game. I like it. A tier. Next up, The Simpsons Hit and Run, which I'm sure everyone knows what this game is. It's the classic. It's like one of the most popular games, or at least I think. Like it's one of the games that everybody, if somebody mentions it, everybody knows what it is. And I'm sure many people played that when they were kids, which is why they love it. I did not play it as a kid. I only played it for the first time when I played it to beat the game for the channel. So I can have a different opinion because there's no nostalgia factor to it. But what I think of it is there's really not a story. I mean, the story is there's like the aliens and you want to get rid of the aliens. It's like Simpsons stuff. The gameplay, it's similar to GTA. I think it's a very good game. It's a very fun game. If you want to have fun, you load up the game and you play it and you have fun. But I don't think, for me personally, that I would really ever play the game again. I don't think it's anything incredible, but it's not bad at all. So I think it's another game that's gonna go again and to load up the B tier above 50 Cent's Bulletproof. It's very fun, but I don't think it's an A tier. Moving on to another classic game, Sly Cooper, The Thievius Raccoonus, the first game in the Sly series. If you know Sly, you would know is my favorite genre of game right there, platformer. I'm a sucker for platformers. That's why Klonoa 2 is an A tier. It has a very unique platforming mechanics with using his hook and be able to have the different like maneuvers on various objects with climbing and sliding across ropes and stuff like that and swinging with your hook. It has such good mechanics to it. It's such a unique platformer. It has just the lovable characters. You're a bunch of bad guys that knew each other in an orphanage, and you're trying to take down all these bad guys that broke into your house and stole pages from your long line of families book, The Thievius Raccoonus, to take. They want it to take all your secret stealthy moves and learn it for themselves. They also killed his father, which that's just a jackass move. Now you in the gang, you're trying to track all those people down and take those pages back because they're yours. So it's a good story. And also the music, the ambience, the music fits so well in the levels. Ooh, I'm putting it in A tier above Klonoa 2. I know it sounds like I was going to put it in S tier, but I'm putting it in A tier because I haven't played them in a while, but I'm pretty sure Sly 2 and 3 are better. So they're not as good, and I don't think Sly Cooper, the first one, is as recognizable to me at least, as in the specific levels and stuff. Not quite S, but high A. Now we have Surf's Up. Obviously, it's the movie Surf's Up. It sort of follows the movie plot, I guess. It's just like you're in a surfing competition and you're trying to win the competition. That's all it really is, and not really much else of the story to it. The gameplay is you're on a surfboard, of course. You're doing various tricks and stuff off the waves to get points and win the competition. Not a complicated concept whatsoever. It's just you're on a surfboard, you're zooming, doing cool tricks, getting cool points, and winning. Which sounds very basic, and I thought it was going to be another like kind of boring game that's based off a movie that's just made to make money. But even though the gameplay and the mechanics were very basic, I had a lot of fun to it. Actually, it wasn't super long where it kind of got dragged out and got super boring and I wanted the game to end. It was also it was fun enough that I was engaged the whole time. So I had a lot of fun because I like, as we see, we have 2 Tony Hawk games coming up. I love Tony Hawk. It's very similar to Tony Hawk where you're just doing tricks to get points. So I had a lot of fun with it. I think for me it would be like a good game to just load up and play a level or two because it's just fun to do cool tricks and stuff. Of course, it's not anything incredible because the levels were basically the same thing. You're just getting enough points to get the trophy, kind of the same thing over and over again. But I'm gonna put it bottom of B tier because I think it was pretty fun. Wait, actually, I changed my mind. I'm putting it above Lego Island Extreme. Okay, now moving on to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Like I just said, I love Tony Hawk games, especially Pro Skater 3. I grew up playing the game, so yes, nostalgia is a big factor in this. Tony Hawk is awesome. I love Tony Hawk. I love the concept of it. Doing all the different missions, getting all the crazy points, the crazy combos, all the special tricks. It's so much fun. What's not to love about it? The Pro Skater games, the basis, each level has like kind of the same missions of getting points, getting a secret tape, collecting the skate, stuff like that. And also each of them have a few level specific missions, which is fun. All the levels have good designs. They have good, unique missions for each of them. The replayability is high because you can beat every mission with all the different characters, which is a good amount of characters, plus all the ones you can unlock, so that's even more characters to play with. Also, I love the fact that the different skaters, that they have different specialties as if they would in real life, like vert skaters, street skaters, stuff like that. So the missions where you have to do specific tricks, they actually have different tricks to do, which is awesome. The stat points and the skate litters can be in different positions for they are in different positions for different skaters based off their specialty, which is, again, as I love that. Even if I like 100% of the game, it still has good replayability because it's just fun to play. You can do the missions again, and I think you can just get a bunch of points. You can do a whole sorts of stuff. I'm putting it above Crazy Taxi because yes, nostalgia plays a factor. I played that as a kid, but I love it. Moving on to Twisted Metal Black. So this game is also a very unique game to any of the ones on this list currently. You're in a deadly demolition derby and you drive around, collect missiles and different weapons, and you want to blow up the other enemies and not get blown up yourself. That's what you do. That's what it is. So I like that it's different from the other ones. However, the gameplay for me, I did not like. It was hard, but that's not why I didn't like it. It was so hard to control, and it seemed like their weapons do like such little damage compared to what the the AI weapons do to you. Like, you feel like you can just die so easily. It didn't feel very fun to me. It felt like a chore to have to go around and heal everybody because they don't really damage each other that much. You kind of have to do most of the killing. It's just, I didn't like it. And then there's that horrible boss fight at the end. The boss fight at the end of the game, oh my god, that was the worst part of the game. I hated that. It sucked. It was not fun. And also, plus the story, well, at least of the character I picked, because I know you can pick several characters, and I'm pretty sure they all have their own little story. The story with the person I picked, which I don't remember what his name was at this point, it sucked. I hated the story of it. Basically, I was a guy that had amnesia. I didn't remember anything, and slowly I was learning more about myself, right? Because the guy that was in control, the psychopath that was in control of the whole derby, slowly told me who I was. And then at the end, you finally learn who you are and how you got in this situation, and then he just kills me. Like, he just shoots you in the head and you're dead. How unsatisfying is that? That's like the worst ending. It was the already poor gameplay, and then there's that garbage story to at least the character I played. It wasn't fun. It wasn't very, overall, it was not a fun experience. People might be mad, but I did not like this game at all. It was one of my least favorite games. I think it's going on D. I did not like it. I did not have fun with it. I did not like the story. I did not like the gameplay. I didn't like anything about it. Now, finally, moving on to our last but definitely not least game of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Kind of everything I say about Pro Skater 3, it pretty much describes this one as well. However, I'll say this, it's not as good as Pro Skater 3. I think Pro Skater 4 was not very different, but it was too different from the other Pro Skater games to call it Pro Skater 4. Because the thing about the Pro Skater 3 games was that you go into a level, you beat the missions, and you move on to the next level. The Pro Skater 4 there was different levels, but you go into it and it's like an open world, and you have to go to the different people and start the missions yourself. Which does to me, that's not Pro Skater game. Yes, that's not how the Pro Skaters work. Still very fun though, of course. I love Tony Hawk. Also, the thing is, in this game, you don't have to replay all the different characters to do all the missions and can do all the stat points and stuff, because as you get them, stat points go to each character, which is weird. What I did have at the end is cool, like Pro Skate, or the Pro challenges with the different all the different pro skaters, which I like that. I like the pro challenges. Some of them are a lot easier than others. I did like that part of it. So I mean, there's not really much more to say. It's because it's very similar to the other one. It's going in A tier. I think it's going to be between Klonoa 2 and Shadow of the Colossus. Okay, that was all 25 games. Before we end though, I'm going to take one more quick look on this list to see if I want to change it up at all. I want to move Baldur's Gate up right there, and I want to swap Looney Tunes in Area 51. And I want to move Max Payne down 1 and Manhunt up 1. I'm happy with that. Wait, I just looking at it, this is almost a perfect distribution. Look, I have 3 here, 4 here, 3 here, 5 here, and then there's a peak in the middle. That's pretty cool. I didn't mean to do that. It's just future editing monkey. I decided I want to change the tier list just a teensy bit more after watching the edit again, okay? So what I want to do is move Manhunt up to A tier, bottom of A tier, but in A tier. I want to move Island Extreme Stunts down to C tier, top of C tier, but C tier. And I want to move Twisted Metal Black down 1, still in D tier where it belongs. Okay, now I'm actually happy Thank you, bye. My S tier, easy choice. Out of these games, God of War is definitely my all-time favorite. But there we go. Let me know how bad I did, because I'm sure people are mad about something, because obviously this is my opinion, so it's simply that, my opinion. Also hope you enjoyed this, ranking the first 25 games. I'm sure after the next 25, whenever that will be, I'll make another part to this. I'll slowly do this one as well. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate you leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Everything helps, it supports me, makes me a little happy, makes me feel all giddy on the inside of my tummy, and I appreciate it. I love you all for doing that. So I hope I'll see you in the next video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye bye.